Welcome back to my channel, Master Stoic. Let's get something straight. Silence is powerful. In fact, in today's dating world, where everyone is addicted to attention and validation, your silence as a man might be the most powerful tool you have. Because when you stop talking to a woman, whether she lost interest, played games, disrespected you, or simply thought you'd never walk away, everything changes. Most men don't understand the gravity of going silent. They think it's just another reaction, but it's deeper than that. When you go silent, especially after being consistent, you shift the emotional dynamic. You stop feeding her ego. You stop being predictable. You stop giving her that guaranteed attention she thought she could always fall back on. And what does she do? She responds, maybe not right away. Maybe not in the way you expect. But a woman will always react when a man who used to be present suddenly vanishes, especially if he was high value, emotionally stable, and didn't beg for her attention. Whether it's confusion, curiosity, regret, or full-blown panic, she feels it. That's what this video is about. Not the games, but the psychological truth behind what happens in her mind when a man withdraws. Not because he's weak, but because he finally understands his worth. We're going to break this down in 7 real, direct, and relatable stages. The exact things a woman will do when you stop talking to her. Some of it will surprise you. Some will confirm what you've already seen. Either way, by the end of this, you'll stop doubting your silence and start owning it like a man. She tries to trigger you one. She tries to trigger you. The moment you stop talking to her, especially if you were once consistent with your attention, something happens that most men aren't prepared for. She doesn't just ignore your silence and go on with her life. No, she feels it. And for a woman who's used to being in control of your emotions, your withdrawal creates a kind of panic she doesn't always show on the surface. So, what does she do? She starts trying to trigger you. That can come in a lot of forms. Maybe she suddenly posts pictures she never used to post. More revealing, more happy, more directed toward the public. She may not tag you, mention you, or say a word about you. But make no mistake, she's targeting you. She wants you to see it. She wants to get a reaction. Why? Because when you were talking to her, your attention kept her feeling validated. It gave her control. The moment you stopped talking, she lost that grip. And the only way to get it back is to pull you out of your silence. Now, here's the key. This stage only happens when she still has some kind of emotional attachment. A woman who doesn't care at all won't bother triggering anything. But when she starts posting cryptic quotes, acting overly happy, showing sudden confidence, or even trying to make you jealous, she's playing chess. She's poking the bear. She's trying to wake you up from the silence, not because she wants to reconnect from a place of honesty, but because she wants that power back. Men who aren't aware of this game usually fall into the trap. They break the silence, they call, they message, they confront her about her posts or ask what's going on. And boom, she wins. The moment you react, you hand her the power again. It proves to her that your silence was never strength. It was weakness disguised. But if you hold the line, if you don't engage, don't respond, and don't let her bait you, her plan starts to fall apart. She begins to question, why isn't he reacting? Did he actually move on? Has he stopped caring? And that's the shift. Now she's the one emotionally chasing clarity. Your silence becomes uncomfortable for her. It makes her feel uncertain. And most women hate that feeling. They want to be in emotional control. But now it's slipping. So understand this. The first move she makes when you go silent is almost never sincere. It's about testing your emotional discipline. If you pass that test, everything that comes after becomes real. But if you fail, you go back to the same cycle of giving her attention she didn't earn. She questions her value too. She questions her value. When a man goes silent after being consistent, it shakes something deep inside a woman. You're not just disappearing, you're taking away something she used to rely on to feel wanted, seen, and secure. And while she might not show it publicly, the second thing she starts to do after trying to trigger you is something far more personal. She starts questioning her own value. This is where it gets real. She might still smile in pictures, still post updates, still act unbothered, but inside there's a subtle war happening. She's asking herself, why isn't he reaching out? Wasn't I good enough? Did I lose my hold on him? This is especially true if she was used to being chased. If you were the guy who used to always check in, reply fast, give compliments, or try to fix things, your silence hits her like a sudden cold front. It forces her to reflect not just on your behaviour, but on herself. See, most women don't question themselves when they feel like a man is always available. They might pull away, act distant, or even lose respect simply because they think they have you no matter what. But when you stop talking and you don't explain yourself, you create space. And in that space, her mind starts filling in the blanks. If she still had some emotional investment, she won't assume you're weak. She'll assume you've leveled up, that maybe you realised your worth. Maybe you're no longer willing to tolerate disrespect or breadcrumbs. And that's when doubt creeps in. She may start stalking your online presence, checking if you're active, if you're posting, who you're talking to. She might even reach out to mutual friends or watch your stories without saying a word. She's fishing for information without directly exposing her insecurity. Why? Because she still wants to protect her pride. But behind that pride is a woman asking herself whether she lost a good man. Now, here's where you need to stand firm as a man. A lot of guys, the moment they sense she's uncomfortable or regretful, start breaking their silence to offer comfort. That's a mistake. If she's questioning her value because of how you reclaimed yours, that's not something you should interrupt. Let her sit in that space. Let her feel what it means to lose your access. That discomfort is the beginning of respect. This is the point where she starts comparing you to other men. If she tries to replace you with someone else, someone who gives her quick attention, that relationship will start to feel empty. Because once a woman gets a taste of a man who can pull away with strength, who values himself enough to walk without chasing, it sets a new standard in her mind. Every man after you feels different, less powerful, more eager, less centered. The moment you stop talking, she may act like she's fine, but deep down, her self-worth is under review, and it's your silence that's making her see you and herself in a new light. She tries to reconnect casually. 3. She tries to reconnect casually. After she's failed to trigger you, and after quietly questioning her own value, the next thing most women will do is try to slide back into your world. Casually. And that word matters casually. Not with a big apology, not with full-blown accountability, but with something light, subtle, and low risk. Why? Because she doesn't want to make herself too vulnerable if you've truly moved on. So instead, she tests the waters to see if you're still emotionally available. She might text you something random. Hey, did you see that show we used to watch has a new season? Or, hey, I just saw someone who looks like you. LOL. Or even a simple, hey, hope you're good. It seems innocent. No pressure, no drama, but don't be fooled. This is a calculated move. She's not just being friendly. She's checking to see if the door is still open. This stage is tricky for a lot of men because it taps into your emotional side. You may have missed her, you may still care. And when she finally reaches out, part of you feels validated, like your silence worked. But this is where most men fall back into the trap. They see her text and think it's a full-blown invitation to reconnect. So they respond quickly, eagerly, and emotionally. And just like that, the power dynamic flips back to her. You need to understand what this casual reach out really means. It's not an invitation to jump back into a relationship. It's not a sign she's changed. It's her trying to find out if she still has access to you. She wants to know. Are you still emotionally tied to her? Are you still willing to give her attention without her earning it? Are you still that guy who can't resist the smallest crumb of her presence? Your response here determines everything. If you reply instantly, you send a clear signal. Your silence was just a phase, not a standard. If you engage in small talk, she knows you're still hooked. But if you either don't reply or you respond later with calm, limited energy, she has to face the truth. You're not where she left you. You're not waiting. You're not desperate. You've grown. Some women, when they see their casual attempts aren't working, will go back into silence themselves. Others will double down and try harder. They'll use more personal messages, maybe even voice notes, compliments, or memories. They want to pull you back into that space where they felt safe and admired. But you must remember, if a woman wants to truly reconnect with you, it won't come in the form of, "Hey, stranger." It'll come with effort, clarity, and accountability. Anything less is emotional fishing. Let her reach out. Let her test the waters. But don't be so thirsty for her voice that you lose your position again. You didn't go silent to start over from scratch. You went silent to protect your value. She acts like she doesn't care. 4. She acts like she doesn't care. After trying to trigger you, after questioning her worth, after sending that light casual message and realizing you didn't bite the way she expected, many women switch tactics. This is where the pride kicks in. And what does she do? She starts pretending like she doesn't care. She acts like your silence means nothing to her, like she's completely unfazed. But don't be fooled. This is one of the most emotional phases of all. Because behind that cold attitude is a woman trying to protect her ego from the impact of being ignored by a man she thought she had wrapped around her finger. This performance can take a lot of forms. She might suddenly post as if her life is amazing. New outfits, more makeup, more selfies, exaggerated happiness. She'll go out with friends more, tag places she knows you've seen her in before, or post quotes like healing in silence or unbothered energy only. But none of this is random. She's talking to you without talking to you. She wants to reclaim the upper hand by making you believe she's unaffected by your absence. Now, here's the part that messes with a lot of men. If you're emotionally weak, this stage will break you because it looks like she's moved on. It feels like she never cared. It makes you start second-guessing everything. And when that insecurity creeps in, most men do the worst thing possible. They come back with explanations. They message her to explain their silence. They reach out to ask how she's doing. They try to prove they didn't mean to hurt her. And just like that, she wins. Your silence had power until you handed it back to her by needing her to know it wasn't that deep. But here's what you need to understand. Her acting like she doesn't care is exactly what women do when they're struggling internally but don't want to look weak. Silence makes her uncomfortable, but she's trying to mask it by flipping the script. It's not that she doesn't care, it's that she wants you to feel like the one losing. She wants you to feel like the one missing out, chasing, regretting. But deep down, that image she's projecting is hollow. She posts the picture, but she checks if you saw it. She goes out, but she's still watching your status. She pretends you're invisible, but her actions betray her every time. Now, this doesn't mean every woman who goes silent after you stop talking still wants you. But if she's doing more to show she doesn't care, if she's going out of her way to seem unbothered, that's a sign she's feeling something. Indifference doesn't perform. Real indifference is quiet. If she truly didn't care, she wouldn't be performing for your attention. But if she's putting on a show that tells you everything, the best move at this point, stay silent, stay calm, stay focused, let her act. You're not there to chase an illusion. You're there to protect your peace. She starts remembering the good times. 5. She starts remembering the good times. When the silence drags on longer than she expected, and none of her tactics triggering you, testing the waters or pretending not to care, bring you back. Something powerful begins to happen in her mind. She starts remembering the good times. But here's the key. It's not just that she remembers them, it's how she remembers them. They begin to feel more valuable than they did before. Why? Because you're no longer available. And in your absence, those moments become rarer, warmer, and more meaningful than when they were happening in real time. At first, when you stopped talking, she may have focused only on the negative, the disagreements, your flaws, or the moments when she felt distant from you. That's normal. It's her mind trying to justify the space between you. But when you stay quiet long enough and you don't come running back to prove anything, her emotional lens shifts. She starts reflecting differently. That dinner you planned, that inside joke, that time you showed up for her when she needed support, the way you listened, the way you made her feel secure, it all starts coming back, not as a list of facts, but as feelings she can't recreate with just anyone. This is where nostalgia creeps in. She might hear a song and suddenly think of you, pass by a spot you both went to and feel that sting in her chest. She may even dream about you. And none of that is random. It's her mind trying to reconnect with something that once gave her emotional comfort. The irony is, most of those memories didn't even feel that deep at the time. But now that you're gone and you're not giving her access, they carry weight. They stand out. Because now there's distance, and distance always makes people romanticize.